Hi, this is Saloni Gupta, and I'm going to give you a quick run through of my database project part 1. So what I've run right now is the initialize database page. What it does, it shows an initialize database button. When I click this button, it's supposed to clear my database and initialize it with the root user. So let's look at the current database right now. So it has a root user and a Sherlock username. Once we initialize the database, the Sherlock should be gone because it would be dropping the tables and creating them again. So let's try that. So I'm gonna click initialize database. So what it does is it says it prints initializing database, drop tables, tables created, and root user inserted. Now let's see if that's true in the database. So let me refresh this, and I'm gonna click this again. So here we now only have the root user and Sherlock is gone, which means that the initialized database page worked. Now it redirected us to the login page. We can log in by putting the credentials of the root user. So we can do that by ROOT and then pass 1234, and it logs in and takes us to the main page which says login successful. Now I'll show you how the registration page works. I can just put Sherlock again. I'm gonna put the password 221B, first name Sherlock, and last name Holmes, and the email address can be sherlock@gmail.com. And when I submit it, it prints success. We're working on registering you. You are registered. So let's now refresh this table and see if Sherlock appeared, and it appeared in the database, which shows that it's working. Now let me just go through some of the code. When we go to the initialized database JSP, there's just a simple page with a submit button, and the form action takes us to the login servlet. If we go to the login servlet, it has a couple of import statements, and then we have a do get, in which we have an if, else if, and else if. The first one checks if the login button was clicked, which wasn't the case in this one. Our case was initialized database. So if it is clicked, then it goes to the initialized database function. The initialized database function over here prints out initializing database, and then it takes us to users.dao.initialize database. So that's in the users.dao Java. Here we have so this is the initialized database function. Here we have a few SQL statements which says drop table if exists users, because that's the only table that exists right now. In future we would have more statements like that. And then we have a create table with all the attributes that we talked about. And then we have an insert user with the root user credentials. And then we have the execute updates to the database, and then we have a close statement. Now let's go back to the login servlet. Actually, let's go to the login page. So in the login page, it's again a form, very basic form with just a button and a place for the username and password. And then this is also connecting to the login servlet. So here now the first if statement would be run, because we're clicking the login button. This goes to the user login function over here. So user login is just gets the username from the user from the JSP, the password, and then it prints out that was just a test, these two lines. And then we have users.dao.login name and pass. We're passing those as the parameters. So let's go back to the users.dao and let's find the function login. So here it prints test1, that's again to check if it was working. And then we have this SQL statements which selects everything from users where the username and password are equal to the passed in strings. If the resulting set is not null, which means there's at least one instance of it, then it will accept the user and log them in. Then we will go back to the registration page. Registration page is again a very simple form with the parameters and the button. It also goes back to the login servlet. Let's go to the login servlet. Now this second else if will come into play, where we'll check if the user pressed the registration button. If they did, it would go to this function where we're getting the parameters and saving them into these variables. And then we print out we're working on registering you, and then we create an instance of the class users, which can be seen here. Just a basic class with string first name, last name, email, username, and password, and just a couple of functions to get and set them. And then after that, we pass in this user as the user that we created, add user, as the parameter for register users. If we go to user.cl, we can see, okay, we have this SQL statement which inserts the user that was passed into the users table, and we just pass the different attributes of the users into it. And then if the row was inserted, it returns true. And then in login servlet, if it returns true, we print you were registered, and then this just connects it to redirects it to the login page. Thank you.